Hello and welcome to the season finale of Project Personality Podcast. I'll be your so-called host, Austin Ernst, and joining me again, Parker Aden. How you doing, Parker?
I'm doing good. Does this mean that I was the best host, like co-host with you, since I'm the one that's back for the...
It means you're my friend and I like you, and you're dependable, and you're dependable. So there's that.
Okay. We take those. We take those as victories.
All right, so Parker, before this, I'm going to out you a little bit. You're like, I don't remember what my personality is. And I was like, you know what? That's fine, because you have been on, like I said, you've been on before. So everyone, if you're curious about Parker, as you should be, he's an interesting lad, go check out, I think it was the 4th episode of my podcast, around there, 3, 4, 5, around there. And you can learn all about Parker and his personality.
Yeah,
but
we did Sly Cooper.
We did do Sly Cooper. That's helpful. That's probably more helpful than 4,
I had to think of it.
3,
I
4,
was like,
5.
what did we do the first time?
Yeah, fair enough. It seems like a while ago now.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about Parker. We're not talking about me. We're not talking about Sly Cooper, even though I could talk about Sly Cooper forever. We're talking about Izuku Midoriya, a.k.a. Deku. So, from MHA, My Hero Academia, where does that liking for MHA start with you, Parker?
Ooh, I love it as an anime. Like that. So Attack on Titan was the one that really got me into anime. But I think My Hero Academia was the one that really got me into, like, watching it every morning as I'm like on the treadmill sort of
like a
thing,
routine.
like, and just, yeah, like showing me, I mean, Attack on Titan's great and I still think it's probably the best anime, but like My Hero's right there.
I like My Hero more, but I think the writing in Attack on Titan is just superb. Like it kind of takes, like you said, you might not be too in anime, like you are now, but you probably haven't watched it like years before, discovering Attack on Titan or MHA. But Attack on Titan isn't your typical anime. Like it kind of turns some of the tropes on its head, and I really like that. The writing there is absolutely superb. So, not talking about Attack on Titan, not talking about the lame main character. I don't remember his name. Eren? Is that his name? Eren of Attack on Titan?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
He's clearly the worst part of that anime, in my opinion. But we're not talking about Eren. We're talking about Deku. So, MHA for me, and liking Deku was kind of awkward because everyone's like, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch this. And I was like, all right, fine. And I started watching it, and I was like, I don't like this. Like, this is kind of lame. Because I don't remember exactly, but I think they not focus on, All Might. They would focus on All Might right away. Kind of. I think, if I remember correctly. They kind of go through, like, Deku, and then he runs into All Might kind of thing. And I was like, All Might is super lame. I don't like All Might. Now for the record, I love All Might now because he has a good arc, and he's just, there's something about him which is like, he's like the closest epitome to Superman in an anime form, in my opinion. And I'm a fan of Superman and like what Superman stands for and all that stuff. So All Might to me is just super inspiring. And then, so once my wheels started turning on All Might, then I was like, okay, this show's not bad. But originally I was like, MHA? I don't think it's for me. And I remember watching the first couple episodes and I was like, nah, I'm gonna dip out. And then I
feel like the first couple of episodes of all anime though are just like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
And then it gets to like, oh, I'm
like, and you got to get to like the end of season 1, and then it gets crazy, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
Why do I have to do that? But yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think it was episode 6. I think I remember watching the first 3, and then I was like, okay, I'll try it again. And all this hubbub was on Twitter about it, and then so I watched an episode. I was like, meh. A week later, I watched an episode. I was like, meh. And then there was one in there, and I think the turning point was when All Might was fighting that, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like that black sludge thing, and it's kind of like the copy of All Might, and they're just like wailing on each other. Yeah, I was like, all right, I think I like him a little more now. And then, and like, I don't know, it was something about what he was standing for there, and he just wasn't letting it happen. And then all spoilers for MHA and how All Might's pretty much sick, like pretty much the entire time. He's dying.
Yeah.
And he's still just like, nah, dude, you're not gonna get me. And he's just going all bored, and it's great. It's a great show. But All Might's not the main course. Deku, what's the power? One for all? Yeah. So All Might gives one for all to Deku, and here we are. So All Might's power is Deku's power, but there's more nuance in that because Deku makes it his own. But we're not talking about the one for all either. Let's talk about Deku finally. So Parker, are you on 16personalities.com?
I sure am.
Okay. So that first question, you enjoy vibrant social events with lots of people. Does Deku enjoy vibrant social events?
I'm very neutral on this one.
So I started a rule that each guest gets one neutral per test.
Oh, okay.
So like one actual neutral. Because you're supposed to stray away from those just to get accurate results.
Right.
So, right. So you get one of those. So I don't think you want to use it on the first question.
No. See, because I just like, I don't envision that's what he wants to go and do in his free time. But then, like the most recent season, he's excited for the school festival. So I'm more inclined to say agree. Just the little baby agree.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be. I keep bringing that up sometimes in other episodes where it's like mama and papa and baby or something like that. I think we started that in our episode. So yeah, I want it to be either baby disagree or baby agree. So baby agree works for me. Moving on. You often spend time exploring unrealistic yet intriguing ideas. Does he daydream? What do you think?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. Yeah. I think the epitome of his character, especially before he gets one for all, he's pretty much daydreaming. And even when he gets one for all, he's still just it's kind of more the intriguing ideas. Because unrealistic is weird, because Deku, whatever he sets his mind to, he kind of succeeds at. So does he do this often?
I would say the middle agree. I'm not feeling the strongest one.
Okay, yeah. I will side with you on that one, and it sounds good to me. All right, moving on. Your travel plans are more likely to look like a rough list of ideas than a detailed itinerary. Does he have travel plans? Does Deku have travel plans?
Yeah. And I think anything he does, it's usually pretty, unless it's like fighting, but he has that like book of villains and heroes and all of that stuff. So I think if he were to make travel plans, he would be pretty organized in a similar fashion to that. So I say disagree.
So do you want to so you're saying it's not detailed? So you're saying so you're agreeing that it would be a rough list, or that would be detailed?
It would be detailed.
Okay. So you want like a middle of the road disagree maybe, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too, because I feel like Deku also has the kind of mindset where he's going to give it his all, but he gets exhausted a lot. So he's probably just kind of going to do things on a whim sometimes. So.
Yeah.
All right. You often think about what you should have said in a conversation long after it has taken place. Does he dwell on
yeah.
these things? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, there's a lot of flashbacks. I'm going to give that a Papa agree.
Papa. So I almost said Big Papa. Papa agree. Papa agree.
Papa.
This got weird. Moving on.
Oh,
if your friend, if your friend is sad about something, your first instinct is to support them emotionally and not try to solve their problem. What do you think?
He does both, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, what's his first instinct? I think honestly, it's to support them emotionally. Honestly, I think he wants to get to solving the problem, but I do think he's a good friend and he understands that. Like that connection with other people. So I think he does initially go on the emotional side of things. And then once he gets past that barrier, then he would go to solving their problem.
Yeah, I agree.
But since we had to kind of talk it out, do you think that's middle of the road a little bit?
That's what I'm leaning on.
Sounds good to me. Middle of the road, agree. All right. People can rarely upset you. I mean, he seems pretty calm.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he does get kind of like mood swingish, but I don't think he's upset.
Yeah, it's more of like that, like a fire is burning within him sort of thing, of like motivation and not.
Yeah, like instead of him being upset, he just kind of uses that as fuel to like get to his goal.
Right.
He doesn't really dwell on that, like genuinely upsetting him. So
I say it's a middle of the road agree.
I was hovering over there, so we're on the same track. Perfect. Next page, Parker.
Next.
Do you want to read these ones? Because you can.
I would love to. You often rely on other people to be the ones to start a conversation and keep it going.
I would say yes, but not often. I think
I agree
kind
with
of
that.
a little bit of both. If the situation arises where he needs to be the person starting the conversation, he's perfectly fine doing so. So, since it says often, what do you think?
I think it's the little baby disagree.
Little baby disagree. Okay. Yep. I'm right there with you.
All right. If you have to temporarily put your plans on hold, you make sure it is your top priority to get back on track as soon as possible. I think that's a yes.
Yeah, I think it's a yes as well. Yeah, totally. Is it big agree or middle of the road agree?
I think it's big agree.
Big agree? Okay. Yeah, he's pretty serious about his training regimen, and maybe too serious because he injures himself a lot. So
yeah. You rarely worry if you made a good impression on someone you met.
I think he worries about that a lot because he sees himself as being the next All Might, even though he's not there yet. Like he understands that like that's the end goal, but I think he does worry about that.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the flashbacks too of like thinking on conversations he's had and where people stand with him. So is that another big agree?
That'd be a disagree because it says you rarely worry.
True. I'm fine with either.
Okay, let's go middle because I don't think it's like a driving force for him. Actually, because I think like he does worry, but I don't think he's worrying about everything because he has this a lot on his plate. So
yeah, it would be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored.
I think you just train.
I was gonna say I think it's a little baby disagree or a middle disagree.
Okay. I like the baby disagree because I can see him struggling. Like if I don't know, like if he's injured, you know, which happens a lot. And so yeah, I can see situations arising where he could struggle. But yeah, I feel like for the most part, he would entertain himself. What do you think?
Either train or find something to study or, you know, run through scenarios in his head. All right. You are more of a detail-oriented person than a big picture person.
He's a little bit of both. What is he more, though? I feel like he's both. Like definitively both, honestly.
So are you saying this isn't neutral? Is that what you're saying?
Hey, it's your choice. If you have an argument for one or the other, I would love to hear it.
He's both. I agree because he does. I mean,
well, okay.
When push comes to shove, he can skip those detail-oriented stuff. I think
you should say.
Leans.
Go on.
I was just gonna say, I think he leans a little bit more towards big picture than detail-oriented when push comes to shove.
I am right there with you, which is why I think you should save your neutral one, because the fact that it says you are more of a detail-oriented than a big picture person, I think we can rationalize that and put it as like a baby disagree.
True. All right. And then the final one, I am. Okay. I clicked it. My answer's not locked in, but we're going to pretend. And then the final question for this page is, you are very affectionate with people you care about.
I would say middle of the road agree, because I don't think he's like over the top affectionate, but he doesn't really hide it either. I don't know.
He's not like a touchy-feely affectionate. It's more of like the emotion connect sort of affectionate.
Yeah. I kind of feel like a lot of main characters in this kind of an anime, like children, high schoolish kind of stuff, they almost have to be like emotional to like make a connection with the viewer. So I feel like this has to be agree, but I'll let you choose what level.
I think it's a baby one.
I was also leaning towards as well because it says you're very affectionate. So since I do think he's affectionate, the very is what makes it a little antsy. So,
yeah.
Okay, next page. I'll take over. You have a careful and methodical approach to life.
Yeah.
I don't think he's careful.
He is methodical.
Yes.
I think he tries to be careful in the sense of like, again, going back to making those good impressions. He's not necessarily, well, you know, he does still, even in fights, is like, oh, there's civilians over in this area, I need to avoid them.
And that's careful, but that could also be considered methodical.
Yeah. And it's both.
So
you have a careful and methodical.
I know, I understand that. But I think the careful is where it gets a little weird. So maybe, because you think he's both, so it would be like a hard agree. So do you maybe just want to do like a middle of the road agree?
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Okay, so I feel like there's definitely some nuance to that careful there. You are still bothered by the mistakes you made a long time ago. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a baby agree, but I mean, again,
I think it's middle of the road.
I'm fine with that too.
I think a big part of that is him dwelling on one fight that he could have done different, like the entire season. Like I think that's a big part for his inspiration, like going forward for almost every season.
True.
If it's not Bakugo, it's something in that tournament, which was dope. But yeah. Okay.
Man.
At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found farther away from the action. So if he got to choose this, I think, now it doesn't say parties with his friends. I mean, you go to parties with your friends, though. In similar events, you can mostly be found farther away from the action. This is tough, actually, because I think he's both.
I was going to say, I don't think he necessarily likes to be the center of attention in a thing like that, but I think also, I mean, like for the school festival, he's on stage, and then he switches to that like farther away from the action role, so he can do both.
But in school, before his quirk and all that, which was given to him, I think he probably would have strayed away from the action.
Yeah.
So I think this should be, because it says you can mostly be found farther away from the action. I think it's like a baby agree.
Yeah, that's what was in my mind too.
Yeah, perfect. You often find it difficult to relate to people who let their emotions guide them. I disagree.
No. Yep. Hard disagree or middle of the road?
Right. I think it's a hard disagree. I think that's, like I said before, like these types of animes where it's like an emotional connection and like teenagers, I think it kind of has to be there.
Yeah.
When looking for a movie to watch, you can spend ages browsing the catalog.
I've never thought about Deku watching movies.
Exactly. I love this question for these characters because it just gives you weird imagery. Just Deku lounging on the couch, just scrolling.
I don't think so. I think if he's going to watch a movie, he has, and I say it's a little baby disagree, but I think he has an idea of what he wants to watch.
Because he, I don't know, he has some reminiscence of detail-oriented, like we've been kind of getting at throughout this. So baby disagree because we're not sold on it. Is that what you said?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, right there with you. All right. Last question on this page. You can stay calm under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Kind of has to. Is that a big agree?
Middle of the road?
Oh, okay. Why do you say that? I'm okay with that, but convince me.
I just feel like there have been some fights where he's like, I don't know what to do, which I guess that doesn't translate to he didn't stay calm because he's always stayed calm.
I think he stays calm. I just think sometimes he gets overwhelmed.
Yes.
Doesn't necessarily mean he is panicking. So I still think it's a big agree, but
I agree. After thinking my thought process out more, I agree with you. I'm hitting next.
Perfect. Don't even want to discuss it anymore. He's already on the next page. All right, go ahead and read these.
When in a group of people you do not know, you have no problem jumping right into their conversation.
I think this is a baby disagree because I think he could do it. And I don't think he'd dwell on it too much, but it says you have no problem. I think he will have a little bit of nerves in that.
I agree. Yeah. I'm there for the baby disagree.
Okay, perfect.
When you sleep, your dreams tend to be bizarre and fantastical.
I love this question. It makes everything so weird. What is fantastical for Deku? What classifies as fantastical? He has a quirk.
I was going to say, I don't know, has it ever shown him like having a dream? Because a lot of shows will do that.
Maybe a nightmare or something?
Yeah, and I mean, those are usually bizarre. I feel like, I think it's a small agree. Like nothing's jumping to mind, but I feel like if you were to do either of those, they would either, a nightmare would be bizarre, a dream would be either bizarre or fantastical. So maybe a middle agree. I
think it's still baby agree because, well, I mean, maybe middle of the road, but here's my reasoning for it being agree. Usually, because we talked about how there's kind of a lot on his plate. He gets overwhelmed a lot. My psychology knowledge, usually when you're stressed out, that's when those dreams are more frequent. So since, just logically speaking, since not a lot of anime goes into them sleeping, because that wouldn't be, I don't know, entertaining. So I feel like overall, if we were to see him sleep or his dreams, they would be, I don't know, like 2 out of 5 nights, bizarre and fantastical. So yeah, I feel like that has to be counted. So baby agree is definitely okay with me.
That is the answer.
Okay.
So in your opinion, is it sometimes okay to step on others to get ahead in life? For him, I would say no.
That. Yeah. So he's very against that. So I think it's a hard disagree.
I agree.
No, Bakugo, on the other hand,
he's like total opposite.
He'll stomp on it.
You are dedicated and focused on your goals, only rarely getting sidetracked.
I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's him perfectly. I think it's a big agree. I think that entire sentence is him. Does it get sidetracked? Yes, but I'd say it's rare.
Okay. If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself, your abilities, or your knowledge. I say no, and it's a hard no or a hard disagree.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say middle of the road because I feel like he's done it before, but I feel like most of the time he's able to just be like, "Oh, I messed up, shake it off. Like we got to stay focused," sort of like that, maintaining calm and not panicking.
I think it's a baby agrees. You're gonna have to work harder on this one.
What?
Yeah, because he's the next, like, what's the term they use? The pinnacle of hope or something? The symbol of hope. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with that in mind, when he makes a mistake, he's like, crap. Was I the one who should have got one for all? Should it have been someone else? And then his abilities are so much different than All Might's, and I feel like that makes him doubt it too, which he shouldn't. And he's getting into that. He's growing more as like his form of one for all. But then his knowledge maybe not. But that's why I think it's still baby agree. Because I think he understands. He has the mind for being a hero. But getting the abilities and shaking off those doubts is where I think he would struggle.
And we did talk about earlier. He does a lot of reflecting of like, what if I blah blah blah. And so I guess when he's not fighting is when those thoughts and like what you just described comes in. But I feel like if he's in combat, he keeps pretty calm and he doesn't doubt it. He's just like, crap, I missed. Like, it's not a matter of, I can't do it. But then again, sometimes he is like, will this work? Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily doubting himself. He just does, it's like, I don't know if this will work, but it's the only thing I can try.
I agree with you in combat, but I don't think that's a valid argument. Honestly, I kind of feel like
more often than not, he's not in combat.
That too. And in anime, like, I don't know, if the main character was panicking the entire time, like, I don't know. That'd be weird. Yeah, exactly. So I think this is a baby agree.
Okay.
In my gut.
You've won me on that.
Okay.
All right. And then the final one for this page, when at a social event, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people and mostly talk to the ones you already know.
So I think this is either a big agree or a middle of the road agree, because it says you rarely try to introduce yourself to more people. So I would say yes. I don't think that's something he would go out of his way to do unless he had a specific goal in mind.
I think if it's like a All Might type figure of like, oh my God, this hero, I need to meet them and talk to them.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah, he's not going to do it for some average Joe person. So I'll do a middle of the road agree.
All right. Sounds good to me. Next page. You usually lose interest in a discussion when it gets philosophical. I don't think he loses interest. I don't think it's necessarily his thing, but I don't think he is like, nah, I'm not about that.
Right. I agree.
I think he's a face value character, which I say about a lot of characters. But so it says usually lose interest. So I think it's a middle of the road disagree, maybe.
Okay. I was leaning between that and a baby one. So.
Okay. Middle of the road. You would never let yourself cry in front of others. Disagree. Hard disagree, right?
Yep. Right? We've seen it before. Next question.
Moving on. You feel more drawn to places with a bustling and busy atmosphere than to more quiet and intimate ones. What is he more drawn to? Honestly, thinking about this, I think he likes the bustling and busy atmosphere because, like, that's the city that he wants to protect. Like, he wants to be in the action. He doesn't want to be on the sidelines.
True.
I heard a butt there. I was feeling the butt.
Yeah.
I was feeling the butt. That's a phrase I wanted to say.
I think this comes. Jeez Louise. When he's in the action, yes. Or when he's serving, yes. But if he's like has time off or is training or is like not being a superhero, I think it's a disagree.
See, I agree with everything you said, but the question is you feel more drawn to.
Okay. So you're right. So he's feeling more drawn to be in that line of service.
Yes, but I think it's either middle of the road or baby agree. So I'll let you choose on that.
Let's do a baby.
Okay, let's do a baby. All right. You like discussing different views and theories on what the world could look like in the future.
Yeah, I mean that's why he's a hero, is it not?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not necessarily like theorizing, but just the back and forth jibber jabber of like, I don't know, defeating the, what are they called? I don't remember what they're called.
Nomus?
I mean, yeah, but it's like the
The
Force
League of
Evil
Villains or what?
League of Villains, yeah. I remember it was something that was like pretty generic. But yeah,
We're
yeah.
the League
So
of
like he's
Villains.
probably thinking about like what's life after them, kind of a thing, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
So
that
big
agree.
agree or mini
Um,
agree?
yeah, I'd say so. I think because the question says you like discussing, so yeah, I think he likes that. I think that's something he enjoys.
So big?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. When it comes to making life-changing choices, you mostly listen to your heart rather than your head. Now it says mostly. It says mostly. I think that's at least an agree, but what level I don't know.
A little teeny tiny one.
Okay. Because mostly is there. If it just said you like just take out mostly, then it'd be a middle of the road. Like absolutely.
Yes.
You cannot imagine yourself dedicating your life to the study of something you cannot see, touch, or experience. And I think you can, because in this world, quirks are weird. They might not be able to be explained right out like that. So I think he could. Do I think he could be religious? Yeah, because that usually is what I equate this question to. Is could the character be religious? And I think so, especially in this world. So
yeah, I think it's a middle of the road disagree.
Okay, sounds good to me. Next, Paige Parker.
You usually prefer to get your revenge rather than forgive.
Now
I think
I'm going to disagree, but it's baby disagree.
Yeah, I agree with you because I think he's more about justice than necessarily like I will go out and murder this person.
But I do think he has that in him though. Like I think I don't know. There's at least like out of the billions and billions of universes that like you know like realities you know I feel like there's probably a reality where Deku is just hell bent on something you know.
Yeah,
for sure.
You often make a decision on a whim.
Often, baby or middle of the road agree for me.
I'm thinking baby agree probably.
Okay, so is that we leaning towards agree as well?
Yeah, because I mean, like we've talked about how he's methodical and stuff, but he has enough of those like friends asking him to do something or in combat deciding things that
Okay, so yeah, I feel like I mean everything goes his way. He's not doing something on a whim. Like everything, you know, stays to plan, and but like
which obviously
in his line of work, yeah, in his line of work, he's kind of forced to often do that. So.
The time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying than the time you spend with other people. I say middle of the road disagree.
Yeah, he's a people person. As weird as that is to say, because we say like he does enjoy his alone time. He's not going to go out of his way to talk to you unless you're someone special. But yeah, I think he is in his core like a shy people person, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Like he wants to serve the people. So you often put special effort into interpreting the real meaning or message of a song or movie.
Now he says you often do this. Now I don't think Deku is out here writing poetry.
No.
So
I'm just trying to put it.
Go on.
Like I'm just thinking about it in terms of his journal for superheroes and like, oh, you know, they did this move maybe because of this or like he always has a method and reason for that.
Yeah, but I don't think this is definitely like an artsy question.
Right. And I don't think he's doing it for the arts as much. He could. Yeah. Like it wouldn't surprise me.
Right. Like if he was tasked with doing so for some reason, yeah, I feel like he could come up with something that's good.
So is this a big disagree?
I think it's a big disagree. I just don't think he's because it says you often do this. I don't think in any reality he would often do that.
True. Okay.
So for me, it's a big disagree. Okay, sounds good.
You always know exactly what you want.
Does anyone?
Honestly, I think it's probably a little agree because I think he has the direction, but not the exact.
Yeah. When it comes to his doubts, it's not about his path in life. It's always about like, what am I doing wrong to get there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
What am I doing right that will get me there?
And then you rarely think back on the choices you made and wonder what you could have done differently. We're starting to get to those repeating questions. Big fat disagree.
Big fat disagree. So hold on. I just want to make sure we're doing it right. You rarely think back on the choices you made and wonder what you could have done differently. So you disagree, which means he does this often.
Yep.
Okay. Just being sure. Okay. So is that big fat disagree, like you said?
Yep.
Okay. Next page. I will read these ones. When in a public place, you usually stick to quieter and less crowded areas.
Only if it's a stakeout.
Hey, I mean, yeah, line of work. When in a public place, you usually stick to quieter and less crowded areas.
I think middle disagree.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just looking at. So middle of the road disagree for me as well. Do you want to say anything about it, or you just want to move on? I'm cool with it. Okay. You tend to focus on present realities rather than future possibilities. I think he's always trying to think of the future, whether that just means like the mission they're about to go on, or
I mean, I think he does do a pretty good job of weighing like, well, if I do this now or if I do this now, but I think it is always more future minded. So I'm gonna say a little baby disagree.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was too as well. So sounds good to me. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings.
No.
Yeah, for me, that's a big disagree. He might not always handle their feelings well, but I don't think he struggles to understand them.
Right. It's more of a struggle of like, how do I help?
Responding.
Yeah.
When starting to work on a project, you prefer to make as many decisions up front as possible. I think you would.
I think he wants to make plans, which like that requires decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess yes.
Yeah. It doesn't say he does this every time. I'm itching my leg.
Oh, I thought you were like reaching down to pet something.
No, I mean my foot, I guess. So yeah, I don't know if he does this every time, but the question says you prefer to. So I feel like if the choice is there to kind of, get the lay of the land out up front, I think he's going to do that. So,
yeah.
Middle of the road agree then?
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. When you know someone thinks highly of you, you also wonder how long it will be until they become disappointed in you.
As much as he like questions himself as if he made a good impression in that stuff, I don't think he has that fear or that wonder about it.
Okay, I disagree.
You think he does?
I think he does, yeah. Again, he's the next symbol of hope. He has this image of himself being this perfect being because he thinks he has to be that.
Okay, fair.
Hey, you can try to convince me if you want. What do you think?
I'm just, when you know someone thinks highly of you. So not just like, like they put you on a pedestal and you're just wondering how long it'll be until they become disappointed.
I think he has that.
I don't think it's the first instinct though. I think it's like if he stumbles,
not the question.
I'll do a little baby agree.
Okay. We will. Hey, do you want to use your neutral? You haven't used it yet.
Because no.
Okay.
Because don't
save it too long. Don't save it too long. You might not be able to use it at all. Okay.
I mean that. No, let's just move on.
All right, sounds good.
I'm gonna find a better question to use it for.
Okay. You feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. If he genuinely finds them interesting, I think he probably is a little nervous about it. Honestly.
Yeah.
So maybe.
But I still think he'll do it. Which I guess
that's not the question.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I say a little baby disagree.
Yep, right there with you. I was gonna argue for baby either way. It was gonna be a baby agree or a baby disagree. So, next page. Go ahead, Parker.
You often drift away into daydreaming about various ideas or scenarios. Again, a repeat question. Again, it's a strongly agree.
He does this often? Yeah, probably. I say so.
You look after yourself first, and others come in second. That's
a hard disagree. Is it a hard disagree?
Yeah, I would say so. How many times has he been injured beyond repair?
Yeah, but I agree. I agree that it is a hard disagree, which is weird to say. But I will say that there is growth on that because he's getting injured so much. I feel like that sentiment is still true for him. Like, that sentiment is still false for him, I should say. Like, because you look after yourself first, others come in second. For him, he comes in second. But I feel like there is growth for him because he's getting hurt so often that he is kind of like protecting himself more and worrying more about his body. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, maybe like I don't know, season 7 Deku. That's maybe a middle of the road disagree or something.
Oh, don't you hope we get to 7 seasons, man?
That'd be nice. Yeah.
All right. Even when you have planned a particular daily routine, you usually just end up doing what you feel like at any given moment. That is a no. He disagrees.
Okay. I just heard that is a no, and then no.
Well, I was like, do I commit that it's a hard disagree, or is it a middle disagree?
Even when you have a planned particular daily routine, you usually just end up doing whatever you feel. Yeah, no, that's a hard disagree. He's pretty rigorous when it comes to those things. If he genuinely has a routine, he's probably going to stick to it.
Your mood can change very quickly. I don't think it's his.
That's kind of
it's more of his mindset that I would say, because like he's ready for combat, but I wouldn't say that's not your mood changing.
Yeah, because like your mood would be like angry or sad or happy.
Yeah.
Driven.
So I think it's a disagree. He's not. We had another question that was like this, I think, on the first one.
Ooh.
I think it's a middle disagree.
Yeah, I mean the middle of a hard disagree. The fact that it says very quickly.
And it doesn't. Because it takes him a while. So let's do hard disagree.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good to me.
You often contemplate the reasons for human existence or the meaning of life.
I don't think it does that.
No. The only thing I could, like, sometimes it's, why is this person a villain? But it's not their existence.
Right. Yeah.
So what level of disagree are we doing?
I still think it's hard to disagree. I don't think there's enough nuance there to take that down a peg, honestly.
Okay. Got a set. And you often talk about your own feelings and emotions.
Yes.
I think he does. I think he's opened up more as he was pretty open in the start though, like with his mom of wanting to quirk.
I feel like he's one of the people that does talk about his feelings. Like the rest of the people don't. He's kind of the one that brings it out. Maybe you're middle of the road agree.
I say middle of the road agree.
Okay. What were we gonna say though?
I don't remember. It's my mind went fast.
If you hear sirens, I can barely hear it, but if you hear sirens, they're here. Hello. they're outside my window.
Are they coming to get you, Austin? Do we need to stop?
Probably. It's me not wearing my pants. They're after me.
Yeah.
Oh no, I just outed myself. I forgot he was gonna edit that out. Crap. All right. You have got detailed education or career development plans stretching several years into the future. See, I think this one's.
He's gonna be a hero.
Yes, but I don't think you have got detailed education or career development plans stretching several years into the future. I think he has that goal. I don't think he knows where he's going at any given moment when it comes to the actual line of that academy. I don't think he has a big clue.
It's like when they do those placement internship things, it's like he doesn't know what firm he's going to. Like he doesn't I think he has ideas, but I think it's a little baby agree.
Okay, because for the most part he knows I'm taking this path.
Yes, he knows the path. He just doesn't know like where it turns and moves back. And
okay, and it probably does go several years into the future because that seems like a lengthy career. So you rarely dwell on your regrets. I think this is a disagree.
Yep. What level?
So hard disagree or middle of the road disagree? Oh wait, it says you rarely. So So I think it would. Since he does this often, I think it'd be disagree, right? Or I think it'd be a big disagree.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. It's like I lost him. He's confused.
Sometimes these questions just like
it's those
mess with you, man.
Yeah, it's like the often or the rarely or that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay. Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around quickly makes you feel drained and in need of a getaway. And I could not disagree more. Yeah, I think he lives for that.
But disagree.
Okay. Big disagree. All right. Moving on. That was pretty easy. If you know Deku at all, that's what he lives and breathes for, in my opinion. So, you see yourself as more of a realist than a visionary. Some struggle in here. Some turmoil. I think he's more of a visionary. So I think it's
I do
baby
too.
disagree. Baby disagree?
Yeah.
Okay. Any thoughts on that?
No, I was just like, I think he does lean more towards visionary.
Okay. Yeah.
At first, my mind was just like, a realist?
I think he's a realist when it comes to like trying to connect with either a villain or someone he's saving. Like I think he he's on their level where he's like, hey, we're the same. Like he can connect on that level. He can be real on that level and be like, I understand why you're doing this kind of thing. So yeah. You find it easy to empathize with a person who has gone through something you never have.
I think he's more likely to do that than to not connect with them at all.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a middle of the road agree, just because there's not too much source material for that. Like every character is different for sure, but like I don't think there's any plot point that is sold that home. I think it's middle of the road agree.
I will agree with your agree.
Okay. Just based on how we answered the question so far and my opinion of Deku. So, your personal work style is closer to spontaneous bursts of energy than to organized and consistent efforts.
That is a disagree, sir.
Okay. Yeah. I think his fighting style has spontaneous bursts of energy because I think
that's everyone because that's called adrenaline.
Sure. But because I feel he starts out real quick, real fast, and then he kind of dies down a little bit. Then he comes, and then it goes sporadically after that. But that's a good pacing for a fight.
So are we a hard disagree or a middle disagree?
I put a hard disagree. Okay.
And then hit next. We're in the home stretch.
Home stretch, people.
Your emotions control you more than you control them. He has emotions, but I think he's pretty good about controlling them.
Yep. I think he uses them to drive him. I think I said that about another character. I feel like I say that about a lot of anime characters, but yeah. So I think this is a middle of the road disagree, maybe.
That's what my mouse was on.
Perfect. Yeah, I think he's definitely capable of that getting away from him because he is an emotional person. But for the most part, he has it in check, I would say.
After a long and exhausting week, a fun party is just what you need. I say disagree. I think if he's been out doing all superhero stuff, has had multiple big fights, he's going to want to just crash.
If he were to do anything remotely like this, it's just hang out with the people he wants to hang out with and just collapse after being exhausted.
So a middle disagree or a hard disagree?
I think it's a hard disagree. I think it's the fun party. He can be in a party and like manage just fine, I think. Maybe a little awkward. But I still think that's not what he needs, you know?
You frequently find yourself wondering how technological advancement could change everyday life.
Frequently, no. But I think this has crossed his mind, especially when the plot points of those toxins or that drug.
The Yakuza clan stuff? Yeah. That's what came to my head too.
So I think it's kind of mission specific.
It's a soft disagree then? Maybe
even middle of the road disagree. Because I really think it really depends on where he's at and what he's doing.
Okay.
Well, okay, hold on. It says you frequently find yourself wondering how technological advancement could change everyday life. Okay, yeah, let's just stick with middle of the road. I think that's okay.
Yeah. You always consider how your actions might affect other people before doing something.
I think he tries to, but I don't think he always does.
Yeah.
Being in the position he is as like the next symbol of hope, I think he tries his best to, but being in that position kind of also asks for, I don't know, drastic things. So
I think it's a baby agree.
Oh, okay. I was going to lean middle of the road, but
was my other. I was between.
Is it the always that gets you, that makes it move down even another peg for you, or?
I guess again, I'm just thinking of it, because I mean he does that all the. Yeah, let's do middle because he does that all the time. I think in his everyday life, it's when it's fighting. It's kind of like that's when the always starts getting shaky.
Right. A bug just attacked me. One of those little black bugs are in my house, and I hate it. You know those little black bugs that just like swarm you and like pee on you?
Oh, those little tiny ones?
Yeah. There's one in my house.
Yeah. Kill it.
Little fucker.
Spray it with raid. You still honor the commitments you have made, even if you have a change of heart.
I'd say so.
I don't know. Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think we've ever seen him face that before, but I think he would do it.
I'm going to say big agree, because I feel like I don't know, his character speaks volumes on that. It's where I can make
I'm thinking middle disagree, but...
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, middle disagree?
Or middle agree, sorry.
Okay. Just woof. But I'm curious though. Can we think of a moment where he does this? Like where he has a change of heart? Because I feel like there's something. I'm just forgetting it. Maybe like his opinion of All Might continuing to fight. Does that ever change?
Because I'm thinking like once he learns about All Might's power and how it works, he's still like, well, I want to be a hero. Yeah.
Is he sick or is he just dying? Because I understand those are kind of synonymous, but in this weird scenario, but like I think he's just dying because of fighting. You know?
Yeah,
like
because he injured himself too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm fine with either big or middle, I guess. Because I can't think of a scenario where we have it.
Oh no, for the record, I am all on for a big agree. I was just curious if we could think of a scenario where he had a change of heart. So we can just move on. That's fine.
I can't off the top of my head.
Same.
And then the final question. You rarely feel insecure.
Disagree. Maybe a baby disagree if you're gonna attack me. But
I was thinking the middle of the road.
You haven't used your neutral yet.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. And here's why. Is because he's always questioning himself about like, did I make a good impression, on this person, blah, blah, blah. And then always like, can I actually fight this person? Like I have to try. I'm the only hope sort of thing. And so he has moments of both.
I agree with both those sentiments, but it says you rarely feel insecure.
True. So it is definitely disagree.
Yeah, I think
probably middle disagree is fine.
Middle? Okay, I'll go middle. So then we click on mail, and then you ready to see our results? Okay. Click that button. Parker.
You are not the father. Ooh.
Protagonist. Is that what you got? Protagonist?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm just surprised at the 86% feeling instead of only 14% thinking.
Yeah. I mean, like, he's an emotional dude. I feel like that, I don't know, that's kind of like your job and your social life, how those are different. During his job, which is being a hero, that's when that 14% comes out a lot, kind of a thing. 14% is kind of low, though. I agree.
And also the judging, I feel like, makes up for that. Like, it's the balance thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's almost a perfect balance, almost. So, identity, this trait underpins all others, showing how confident we are in our abilities and decisions. That is 60% turbulent, and I think that makes sense. He's assertive when he needs to be, but for the most part, he's kind of back and forth on making crucial decisions.
Yeah.
So for the listeners, for mind, he is 51% extroverted and 49% introverted. So pretty middle of the road on that. And I think that's pretty accurate. I think we nailed that one. Energy, this trait shows where we direct our mental energy. He's mostly intuitive and 44% observant. And I think that's good. I think he wants to lean towards observant, but I think again, being in his line of work, intuition kind of either has to happen or you're probably going to die. So,
yeah.
And then, as Parker said earlier, nature was 14% thinking and 86% feeling, which is a bit high. But then he also made a good point that the tactics, which is judging or prospecting, and tactics is this trait reflects our approach to work, planning, and decision making. And he made a good point saying that kind of balances out his nature, which is this trait determines how we make decisions and cope with emotions.
Yeah.
See, when I read nature out loud and cope with emotions, I understand that being feeling. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
I do still think both of those are a little high. Like it should be maybe like a 65-35 maybe for both of those opposite wise. But yeah. I want to click on start reading and then go down to the bottom of introduction and see what other people are protagonists.
Did you do identity?
Oh yeah, I think I read that out loud like before I started doing that, but I can read it again. Maybe. It's gone now for me, actually. You want to read it?
I can read it if you want. Yeah. This trait underpins all others, showing how confident we are in our abilities and decisions. And he is 40% assertive and 60% turbulent.
Yeah, and that sounds right. I'd say so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's pretty middle of the road with that.
Yeah, but I would say he leans more towards turbulent, just because like him, like I keep nailing this home, but him being the next symbol of hope, like that's a huge like weight on his shoulders. So he's gonna be going back and forth on that. If he's doing it right, if he's worthy, and all that stuff. So yeah, I see. Start reading. Stay on introduction. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and it has protagonists you may know. Want to look at those?
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Barack Obama and Oprah Winfrey.
Obama. Two great people to be compared to, honestly. We got John Cusack, Ben Affleck, Malala I'm sorry.
Jennifer Lawrence. Come on, man.
Sean Connery, rest in peace.
Laura Lance from Arrow.
You just glossed over Morpheus? Are you kidding me?
No,
from The Matrix? Oh, Booth. Booth from Bones. That's a good show. The Oracle from The Matrix. That's pretty cool. I like how they have some fictional characters in here. That's cool. That's dope. Okay, I'm going to run through the strengths and weaknesses real quick, Parker.
Alrighty.
I'll read the strengths, and you can read the weaknesses. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right. So he's tolerant. Apparently that's a strength. Protagonists are true team players, and they recognize what that means, listening to other people's opinions, even when they contradict their own. They admit they don't have all the answers, or are often receptive to dissent, so long as it remains constructive. That sounds like him.
Yes.
I think tolerant, now reading that out loud, helps. And Parker, when you read these, you don't have to read them all out loud. I'm only going to, or like read the whole paragraph. I'm only reading the ones that are kind of like, I'm sorry, what? And then, because usually that helps kind of explain it.
Right, okay.
Reliable, I'm not going to read that out loud because he seems pretty dependable. Charismatic, I feel like his actions make him charismatic, not necessarily his personality, so.
Yeah, I agree with that, because it's,
okay.
I mean, think of that like for the first few episodes when it was him saving, is it Unaraka? The floating hand girl. She does the gravity stuff.
Yeah, I was just the gravity chick.
Something.
Is that
the
her
gravity
name?
chick?
Oh,
something with
yeah. Yeah, no, it's a U, isn't it? It's like you are a, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, his love
the gravity
interest.
chick. Yeah, his love interest. Like, I don't think, I mean, she's kind of nice to everyone, but it was after he, like, saved her. Like, it was that action that he was like, or she was like,
Yeah, his actions, she was swoon. But yeah, I think it's definitely through his actions. He lets his actions speak for him, and that's what makes people gravitate towards him. They're like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. He's dependable. Look at him go, kind of stuff. So, altruistic, uniting these qualities is protagonist's unyielding desire to do good and for their communities, be it in their own home or the global stage. Warm and selfless protagonists genuinely believe that if they can just bring people together, they can do a world of good.
Yes.
Yeah. It basically it's just saying like he's a good person in my mind. Like
he's a hero.
Yeah, there's not really a sense of evil in him, except maybe the revenge thing that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Natural leader. Overall, yes, but I feel like that. I don't know if it came naturally to him. I think that had to be worked at. So.
But also, I mean, before he had a quirk, he jumped in to save Bakugo.
That's
that
true.
One time.
But so that just makes him that kind of just makes him brave and stupid. So
true. But I mean, he's that type of like he's going to jump in front of the car and help pull. He's not going to tell people to pull. Type of leader is
that's
what
true.
I'm.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good analogy too. So, good on you.
So, thank you. So then to move on to his weaknesses, overly idealistic. So he can be caught off guard. And through circumstances of nature, simple misunderstandings, people fight against them and defy the principles they've adapted, however well intended they were meant to be.
That sounds
they
spot
are
on.
more likely to feel pity for this opposition and anger, and can earn a reputation of
naivete.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that sounds. I got you. That sounds spot on. Honestly, overly idealistic. Huh.
Yeah. As is his next one, too selfless. I mean, how many times did we see him literally sacrifice his own body? Too sensitive. Yeah. I mean, if it shoe fits.
That's probably. Yeah. That's probably
fitting shoe.
but it's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say he's sensitive. Maybe not too sensitive. But yeah, this is probably the one I have the most gripe with so far, and it's not even that much.
Yeah.
But you want to read this one out loud just real quick? Maybe just run through it.
Sure. While receptive to criticism, seeing it as a tool for leading a better team, it's easy for protagonists to take it a little too much to heart. Their sensitivity to others means the protagonist sometimes feels problems that aren't their own and try to fix things they can't fix, worrying if they are doing enough. And that makes more sense than just thinking
that helped. That helped for sure. Almost feeling obligated to help, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is a hero, but that doesn't necessarily mean he has to fix everything. And I feel like he does have that mindset.
Yeah. Then the last two are fluctuating self-esteem, which I think
everyone has that.
Yeah. And was pretty clear in some of our answers or decisions we were talking about. And then struggle to make tough decisions, which I think all heroes are going to be forced into that scenario.
Right. Yeah, I feel like he has to make really tough decisions, like because it's either like stick to my morals or save this human being, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like clearly he saves the human being, but like he hated it. He hated having to do that. He hated being put in that situation.
Right.
So yeah.
Wow.
I think you did it, Parker. I think that sounds good to me. It's the one that sold it home for me was that overly idealistic. That really sounds like him on that weakness. What do you think overall, Parker?
I think that I want to go rewatch some My Hero, which I had started doing in August. I was waiting for Korra to drop on Netflix, so I did the first season again.
Ooh. And I watched Korra. It's good.
It is good. Not as good as The Last Airbender, but I was happy to be back in that world, getting references.
Honestly, my favorite part of that show was just Aang's children. Honestly.
Yeah.
I just like seeing that side of like the continuation of that line.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like Deku. I feel like we did a good job of giving you a season finale for this first season.
Woo! We did it. Yeah. So the season finale. There you have it. Protagonist. Deku's a protagonist. I think we nailed it. I think ending on a strong character like Deku is a good way to send off the first season. And doing it with my pal Parker seemed like a reasonable thing to do because he's dependable. That's the one thing I said at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to stick to it. So thanks, Parker, for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a good time.
You're welcome, sir. As always, it was lovely. Let's play some Ghost, okay?
Ooh, okay, yeah, we can do that sometime soon, for sure. I need to get through the tutorial, and then we'll get right on that. So. All right, everyone. Deku's a protagonist. There you have it. I'm going to say goodbye to the camera. Stay safe. I'm going to say goodbye to the camera. Usually the same.
Bye.